Hey, happy Travel Tuesday, Scott Lara, TheCruiseGenius.com. This video brought to you by GigSky. If you're concerned about a high cell phone bill when you cruise or travel overseas, GigSky.com is the answer for you. What is GigSky? It's a data plan that you purchase online, and you pick how many gig, how many days, and boom, you're off to the races. How does it work? It uses your built-in eSIM in your cell phone. You don't need a plastic SIM card to shove in your cell phone. It's your built-in eSIM, and then GigSky will provide you data. Check them out, gigsky.com. Email me directly, slara1961@gmail.com for a super secret link and promo code for 10% off your GigSky data plan. I just did a YouTube short talking about why I started TheCruiseGenius.com years ago. You may ask, why did I start it? Was it to share my breadth and depth of knowledge of cruising? No. Was it to share my passion of cruising because I'm a U.S. Navy veteran? No. The reason I started TheCruiseGenius.com was to make my family and friends jealous. If you look at my first YouTube video, way back in the day, my wife and I were on the Carnival Fascination out of Jacksonville. I just won a flip camera, a little flip camera, and I started doing videos, just off the cuff videos. I mean, you have to remember, I used to do the blue light specials in the Kmart camera department back in the day. And so it's kind of natural for me just to kind of share what's going on. And of course, I love cruising. Over 100 days on Holland America, over 75 days on Carnival. I've been on NCL, been on MSC, been on Virgin Voyages, been on Royal Caribbean, been on Celebrity. So I do like sharing my passion of cruising with my audience and giving them hidden gems, and sharing my thoughts and my tips to make your cruise experience better. So let's talk about hurricane season. You remember a couple months ago, death, destruction, worst hurricane season ever, El Nino, death. Oh my gosh, it's just gonna be the worst. Well, we have had a couple hurricanes so far this year, but now it's September. And now we're in the middle, we're in the peak, we're in the, oh my gosh, of hurricane season. Thank you, Sahara dust, because from what weather.com and my local meteorologist buddies here in Jacksonville are saying, that Sahara dust is tamping down the wind and the rain and the death and the destruction. But of course, you know, there are some disturbances out there. And for those of us who are going to be cruising in the next month or so, I think I mentioned this in a previous video, I tend to overthink it, right? I look at weather.com, I look at the National Hurricane Center 2 weeks out, and we all know, and I know in my heart, that the weatherman can't get the weather right over the weekend, let alone 2 weeks from now. And so, and then of course these systems, these disturbances down there, even the weather people are kind of, frustrated that there isn't a track, there isn't a cone, you just got something out there, just unsettled, uncertain. And of course, uncertainty, that's kind of the big thing that always bothers me. I like to be certain about whatever is going on. And so these disturbances out there are kind of hanging there. But I'm glad that so far it hasn't been really bad, in the Caribbean. It hasn't been really bad in Puerto Rico. It hasn't been really bad in Florida. Yes, there's been some stuff, but not as bad as it could be. So let me think of a cruise tip I can give you, because I get that all the time, or I see it online all the time. What cruise tips do you have? I can't stand it when they ask for the hidden gems, because if they would have booked through a travel agent, the travel agent would have told them the hidden gems. What's a hidden gem? Let's talk about that. Oh, what's the best cabin? Or when's the best time to board? Or what's the best shore excursion? Or just 1,000 questions. What are the hidden gems? And it frustrates me. I don't even want to say I want to laugh. It just frustrates me when people on Facebook groups ask for the hidden gem. Ask specifically what your question is. What is the best cabin? Well, I always say midship, not too far high up on deck 20 or something, because if you're way high up, or if you're in the front of the ship or the back of the ship, you may tend to feel the motion of the ocean. I don't like being way at the front of the ship, because you may hear the bow thruster or the anchor. I don't like being way at the back of the ship. You may be kind of far from an elevator. There's also bow thrusters in the back of the ship. So that's why midship or center of the ship cabins are more expensive, because that's prime real estate, right? And so when you have prime real estate, the accountants at the cruise lines are going to charge more because a lot of people want to be there. And that's why I was talking about the guaranteed cabins a couple days ago on one of my YouTube videos. People will say, hey, to save a couple pennies, I'll go with a guaranteed cabin. What does that mean? There are different categories, 1A, 2A, 3A, 1C, 2C, 3C, and that's basically the different, parts of the ship, the different kinds of cabins you could get, right? And so, there are categories that are more expensive, there are categories that are less expensive, and the higher price cabins are more, more sought after. They're better locations, better decks, better position on the ship. And so with a guarantee cabin, you are literally rolling the dice and letting the cruise line decide for you where to put you. And they usually won't let you know till maybe a couple days or a week before you cruise. Okay, you're in cabin 4210. Ooh, 4210, that's right under the galley. Oh, 4210, that's by the anchor. Oh, 4210 is on top of the show lounge. And the way that, as I said in my previous video, the way these guarantee cabins work is that all the people with status, like, diamond, platinum, gold, if they choose to, that's on Carnival. Let's say 5-star, 4-star, 3-star on Holland America, right? So I think if you, and of course, by cruise line is probably different, and this code is even more secret than the YouTube algorithm. But the code, I guess, that these cruise lines use is that, if you're a 5-star Mariner, okay, and you picked a guarantee, and now these cabins have opened up, somebody looks at them and says, okay, 5-star could go in this good cabin, 4-star, this okay cabin, 3-star, this cabin, 1-star, this cabin. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on. But I'll tell you, a very close friend of mine says, you don't always get what you pay for, but don't expect something you didn't pay for. What does that mean? You could go to the Ritz-Carlton and pay $500 a night and have a lumpy bed. You can go to the Waldorf Astoria and pay $500 a night and have a lumpy pillow or, a leak in your ceiling or something. But you can't go to the Motel 6 and expect a concierge. You can't go to a Red Roof Inn and expect, a private valet to park your car. And so just because you're paying a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a perfect stress-free vacation. Let's talk about stress-free vacations, because that's why I think cruising is so cool. Because when you go to an all-inclusive resort, you got to go through TSA, you got to fly there, you got to, especially in Cancun, it can take a while to get your bags off the carousel. But cruising, for the most part, is relatively stress-free. If you're driving to a cruise port, you go to a great cruise port hotel, like down in Port Everglades, the Fairfield Inn and Suites. The Fairfield Inn and Suites is my go-to there. But the point I'm trying to say is that a cruise can be relatively stress-free, especially if you're taking kids. Why? The Kids Club. And I was kind of surprised on our MSC cruise last month in August, that the kids clubs are open during port days. What does that mean? That Caitlin and Tom can go off on a shore excursion and leave Brittany and Timmy in the kids club while they're enjoying their shore excursion. Well, God forbid the ship leaves without Caitlin and Tom on the ship, and now Brittany and Timmy are in the kids club, and the kids club person is going, hey, the parents, the parents got left behind, and if Grandma and Grandpa aren't on the ship, then what happens? And so that's, you definitely don't want to have to experience that scenario. But I don't know, you can comment in the comments below if you think it's cool for Tom and Caitlin to go off the ship while Brittany and Timmy are in the kids club. Let me wrap it up by just saying this. I appreciate all the subscribers of The Cruise Genius here on YouTube, looking at my the Twitter, looking at LinkedIn, looking at all that stuff. Thank you for that. Subscribers are very important. Likes are, of course, very important. But again, sharing my passion of cruising, being a Navy veteran, sharing my tips, it's just kind of like what I like doing. So stay tuned for more stuff. Stay tuned for the Celebrity Reflection in a couple weeks. Scott Lara, TheCruiseGenius.com. Like and subscribe. And remember Gig Sky for your data plan, and remember Fairfield Inn and Suites down in Port Everglades. Have a good one.